talk about the individuals first, because the people who say, I want to come to get the credential of a master's or the credential of a doctorate, usually don't do that well here, because they miss the educational part of it, the mission really that we have. And our mission is to form Christ-like leaders who will be able to handle the theological, biblical, historical, cultural, and missiological sensibilities of Christian worship. This is under the assumption that most of us who have been in church music are trained musically, but not trained theologically on what we do. And in reality, we have as much theological influence in our congregations, quite often, as the senior pastor has on his congregation. So the need for a solid theological framework I think it's a huge need for worship leaders to have the same kind of framework that their pastor would have, and understanding what they're doing theologically, and understanding what they're doing from a historical perspective, from a biblical perspective, of course, also, but also culturally and missiologically, how we go about, why we worship the way we worship. It's absolutely critical. So that's why we exist, to form Christ-like leaders who will be able to lead their churches in renewal, worship renewal, that involves those five major areas of reflection, to give them a framework to do what they do in the music ministry and in worship leadership. We also, 25% of our students are global, international. A lot of those are from South and Southeast Asia, but we have them from almost every continent. We have our first student coming this semester from Africa. So we have Europe, Asia, Australia, South America, and North America. So we've had all the major continents, again, 25% of our enrollment is coming from those areas. So we're seeing the opportunity to influence church planting initiatives, as well as church renewal initiatives in those places where the students will graduate and will have a much greater sense about how to bring renewal into a congregation through worship. And through worship that's founded, that's rooted biblically, rooted in God's story, rooted in the celebration and the enactment, the dramatization of God's story, and the invitation for others to come and participate in God's story of reconciliation, of recreation of the entire created order. And that brings about great renewal in people's lives when they realize that worship's not about what we do for God, but it's about what He's done for us, and the opportunity we have to participate